Another important issue to DUI cases is whether or not the officer had probable cause to arrest the individual. Normally, an individual cannot be arrested without good reason. What that means is that depending on your situation, there may be justification to place you under arrest. That justification has to be based on facts and circumstances known to the officer at the time he places you under arrest. Now, certainly, if you're over 21, it's not illegal for you to drink. And technically, it's not illegal for you to drink and drive. It's only illegal if your blood alcohol level is above 0.08 or if you're impaired to the point you can't safely operate a motor vehicle. Therefore, the simple fact that you're driving a vehicle and that you've consumed some alcohol does not rise to a level of probable cause to arrest for DUI. Generally, a police officer is going to rely on three different things to determine whether or not there's probable cause to arrest. The first is your driving pattern. Some driving patterns are much more indicative of impaired driving than others. Speeding, equipment violations, no headlight, no taillight, those are typical things that people do on a regular basis that have nothing to do with their ability to safely operate a vehicle. However, other driving patterns such as weaving, failing to stop at stop signs, running red lights, wide turns, those types of driving patterns typically are associated with people who are driving while impaired, even though they are driving patterns that people may exhibit at any given time, whether they've been drinking or not. In addition to the driving pattern, officers are trained to look at physical characteristics, things such as speech, balance, odors. How do you get your driver's license out of your wallet? Do you have difficulty finding your license and registration? How do you get out of the vehicle? These are all factors officers are trained to observe in determining whether or not you may be unsafe to operate a vehicle. Third, and most importantly, in determining probable cause, officers utilize standardized field sobriety tests. Those are tests that we'll discuss in another video, but as a general rule, the officers are administering three tests: the horizontal gaze nystagmus, the stand on one leg for 30 seconds, and a walk and turn. Officers may also administer what's referred to as a portable or preliminary breath test. Those breath tests are not admissible in court to give the number. However, some judges will allow the officer to testify whether or not it was positive or negative for the presence of alcohol. Taking all of those factors into account, the officer has to make a determination as to whether or not he has probable cause to place the driver under arrest for DUI. Utah appellate courts have defined probable cause as: would a reasonable and prudent person, under the circumstances and knowing all the facts known by the officer and any reasonable inferences that can be drawn from those facts, have reason to believe that that driver is violating the law. Certainly that creates a very vague standard, and from case to case and from judge to judge, the probable cause standard is probably the standard that's applied most irregularly. However, most judges are going to require some significant signs of impairment, whether they be physical characteristics, driving pattern, or your performance on field sobriety tests, in order for an officer to lawfully place you under arrest and then subsequently request a chemical test.